Good evening, y'all. I wanted to kind of come on here and talk about personality disorders and talk about mental illness in the times that we're living in. The Lord had showed me not too long ago in my journalings that we're going to start seeing far more personality disorders, far more what the world calls mental illness. Or even demonic oppression and possession. That's what's going to be coming down the pike. And this is due to the world being so set in chaos and out of control. What are some of these things? And I think that some of these things can be caused by trauma. So what I've recognized, having family members with severe mental health disorders, I've also noticed that a lot of these disorders that come down the pike can be demon possession or oppression that then by far mixed together with trauma after trauma can create several different personality disorders. I know that I have a sister that's no longer here, but she had multiple personality disorder. And so we see that throughout time, through extensive, continuous acts of trauma and burdens on the soul becomes fragmented. And as I was doing some deliverance before, what we figured out is we would go back and we would look at what ages this trauma had hit them. Say they were say they went through child molestation, and then say in their teens they were raped, and then say in their 20s they went through a situation where they were beat, all these things. So each one of those things could have caused enough trauma to fragment their soul. And what is that? That's where the soul breaks off to protect the rest of the soul so it doesn't become totally broken. So now they have multiple personalities, and you may see them split up. Some of the types of personality disorders that we see, personality disorders are complex mental health conditions that affect multiple areas of a person's life, including behavior, thoughts, and feelings on a daily basis. They can also affect how you understand and relate to other people, as well as your general health and well-being. There are many types of personality disorders, and they can range from being mild and relatively manageable to having severe and enduring impact on your ability to function. So one thing that, as I'm speaking this, that the Lord is bringing to my mind is your environment. Depending on how you're raised, and are you raised in a household where there's a lot of yelling and fighting and arguing, that can cause trauma to a child. If one of the parents beats or abuses their mate all the time, and that child is found to be hiding under a table in the corner, trying to get away from it, it can cause severe trauma to the child, having them become set up with personality disorder, what we call. I know that when I was in nursing school, they had a scenario that, and this is probably going to be multiple parts, and the more information I'll find, I feel like this is a very important thing to share, because I think that there's a lot of this going on right now in the world, and I think that we need to be giving some grace, and this is where God tells us to be his hands and feet and to reach out and love for one another, because we don't know what they've come from. We don't know where they've come out of, or how they have come out of it. But in this scenario in nursing school, in the psychology class, there was three children that were in a home where the mother and father would fight all the time. And they had the oldest child would tend to go and just distract themselves, just totally distract themselves. Then you have the middle child that would try to break up the fight, would be emotional, upset, throwing fits, screaming, yelling, couldn't withstand it. But the one that was actually traumatized the most by all of it was the baby that was in the crib, that you wouldn't think anything of it. At 8 months old, this baby had witnessed all of it. And guess what? The baby was the one that grew up and ended up having issues in school, always fighting, always carrying on, ended up struggling, and then ended up being a sociopath, killing people, as he grew older. So we don't know how the environment that people are living in have an effect. And there's a lot of really trying environments out there. So what are some of the 10 personality disorders that are listed? So these are the ones that are recognized that we have tagged and named. And it's likely that the symptoms that you experience will vary depending on the specific type. And each one goes into a category of A, B, and C. They're clustered. And then, of course, just like in nursing school, they might have multiple different effects that cause them to have multiple different personality issues. Maybe they have anxiety along with being a borderline personality disorder. Maybe they also have a compulsive eating disorder along with that because of all the traumas that they've taken on. So there could be multiple ones depending on what's going on with them. So the 10 types that they normally see are dependent personality disorder. It's where you depend on others. Paranoid personality disorder. These people are constantly thinking people are out to get them. And this can come alongside due to trauma from being in a child situation where maybe their parents were drug dealers and always on the run and worried and had them peeking out the curtains and watching for people. You never know how the disorder come about, but that could be an example. Schizoid personality disorder, schizotypal, and these, I think that a lot of the schizoid and schizophrenic personality disorders, these are those that if we really look deep into it, for me, they see demons. We call them hallucinations. But a true schizoid personality disorder has a flight of thoughts, more like Tourette's, where the words just fly out their mouth. Avoidant personality disorder, obsessive compulsive personality disorder, histrionic personality disorder. These are history. I've had patients with this when I was a DON where they constantly give a history of everything. And I might even have that. I don't know. I can give a pretty good history. Narcissistic personality disorder, antisocial personality disorder, emotionally unstable personality disorder, sometimes known as a borderline personality disorder, and then impulsive personality disorder. So these are the 10 top types. And I think that what I would really like to do, and then they go into clusters. And if you would like to know more about these, I would be more than happy to pick a personality disorder and share with you the definition of that personality disorder and then examples. So then maybe you can start to see in the world out there, different people with that. Maybe we can all work together to try and send love and also know how to handle them. Wouldn't you like to know how to be handled? So these come in clusters. Cluster A is your paranoid, your schizoid, and your schizotypal personality disorder. Cluster B is antisocial, histrionic, narcissistic, and emotionally unstable. And those, they can be pretty powerful, heavy personality disorders. They can do a lot of damage. Cluster C is avoidant, obsessive, compulsive, and dependent. So those are those that are codependent. They are obsessive, compulsive. So OCD, you've heard people say OCD, they repeat themselves. Everything has to be in structure. This goes where they don't feel safe when they're younger, in a younger setting. So I also wanted to do, and I will look further into it. I can tell you, we can study each one. Let me know if this is something that you want to know about, because I would be happy to teach on it. I think knowledge is power, and if we can learn together how to handle and take care of our different people out there with personality disorders, we'll all be beneficial for each other. I also have, and I don't have time on this feed, I have pulled up biblical scenarios where there are different people in the Bible that have actually had personality disorders. And this points that out. And with that, speaking about those, it kind of can show you, hey, these were biblical people that God still used who were affected due to trauma and life scenarios that caused them to have personality disorders. I hope this helps you today. And like and comment, share, and let me know if you want to hear more. Talk to you soon. Bye.